So honored and delighted to hear Jane Unchained Live Talk to have Victoria Summer, an extraordinary actress as well as animal activist. You've been in so many films. Tell us about your career and how you managed to be able to use your fame to speak for voiceless animals.
I think my career, I initially started out in London in the West End, and I realized that there was so much I wanted to do to help change the world and to help create a better world, and I needed a platform for that. And that was one of the things that really inspired me to have a Hollywood career, because I felt as though it was a bigger platform than just being on the West End. And I've always, had the ideas that I've wanted to change the world, make the world better. And obviously being an actress and being out there and being known by the public gives you a soapbox in a way. It gives you a voice. And obviously, it's not an easy career path at all. But yes, I have managed to work hard, and therefore I've been able to have the pleasure in Los Angeles, particularly, of attending many animal events, which has fueled my passion further and further to want to help. And I just really want to get the word out there, because becoming vegan has been a really major life-changing part of my life, which I'm very proud of.
Tell me about that. Tell me about your vegan journey. We know, for example, Joaquin Phoenix, who spoke so eloquently and really, I feel, was a game-changing moment for the planet, convincing some of the major award shows to go vegan, going to a vigil after the SAG Awards, and also speaking as he accepted the award for Joker about the tragedy of animal agriculture and its impact on the planet. So it's so true that we live in a world that's very, very celebrity oriented. Tell us about your journey, and then when you felt like you had the ability to then use your voice for animals. And before you do that, what I'd like to do is play just a little clip of just one of the many things that you do. And in this case, it's for PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals.
For PETA.
Okay.
It was important for me to get involved with the PETA campaign because I'm a huge animal lover, firstly. And I did more and more research into how animals were being kept and how cruel it was in the factory farming conditions. Animals being kept in filthy environment, deprived of exercise, given drugs, and living in conditions which otherwise would kill them. And in respect to animals, I decided that I was going to become vegan.
Wow, that is absolutely incredible. So tell us when you became vegan and what happened, because obviously you're in peak shape, you're fit, you have a lot of energy. You're, by the way, in Italy right now, and we're talking to you from Italy, which is very exciting. When did it happen? How did it happen?
Basically, I had issues with food when I was young, and like most people growing up in England, I grew up on a meat and potatoes diet, and that was how I was fed. And it was very strange when I said to my mum, actually, you know what, this diet doesn't agree with me. When I used to have our typical Sunday roast dinner, which was either chicken or beef or lamb or pork with potatoes and Yorkshire puddings and gravy and some dairy for dessert, I would just fall asleep on the sofa. I was so exhausted. I just literally went into a food coma. And this would happen every Sunday. It would happen at Christmas, and I started to think to myself, there's something wrong with the way I'm eating, because the way I'm eating should give me energy, not make me feel tired. So I started to take certain foods out of my diet. And the first thing I eliminated, because I had such bad skin, was dairy. So that's
hard to believe because you have such incredible skin. I was looking at your photos and I was like, oh my God, no wonder she played Julie Andrews in the film, because you just radiate that just perfect skin, perfect complexion. So it's so shocking to hear you say that you suffered from a bad complexion.
I had acne. It was terrible. And dairy exasperated my skin condition. And I have always been this way. I have no interest in taking drugs for anything. I have a headache. I don't want to take paracetamol. Whatever it is, I do not want to take anything for it. So I decided that I would change my diet to help my skin. And so, as I said, the first thing I eliminated was dairy. Then came gluten. And I started to drink soy milk. And I told my mum, look, I got to drink this other milk. And I started to buy it so that my parents, could make it for me. And so then it just evolved for me. I became pescatarian. I just ate fish. I decided I didn't want to eat animals anymore. And then I started to research being vegan. And I started to watch these documentaries and get involved with some of the animal charities. And when Saving Mr. Banks came along, that was a foot up for me in terms of my career and in terms of being known in Hollywood. That was kind of like my big break. And I got the opportunity to start doing yoga. I started to meet more celebrities in my business. And I started to realize that I did not want to eat fish either. And I was really done with eating any kind of animals, and I wanted to be vegan. And shortly after that, I did the campaign for PETA. And honestly, I've never looked back. I've continued to attend the fantastic events and support them and continue my work. And of course, setting an example is a really important thing to me as well.
Well, you are an inspiration. Now, let me ask you this question. I want to know, we're hearing a little crackling, so whatever you're touching, don't touch it. Thank you so much. Sorry to bother you. Who is this handsome gentleman?
Oh, that's my fiance. That's Fabrizio. I met him in March over an almond milk cappuccino at Costa Coffee in West Sussex in the southeast of England.
So a lot of people have issues with their family or their fiancés or their friends. How have you navigated that? Is this a journey that you're on together toward of veganism?
Yeah, I'm so lucky actually with Fabrizio in that he had been to chef school and he couldn't stand what he saw when he had to go through chef school, because you learn a lot where meat comes from. So he had to study a lot of that. And so unfortunately, he had to see all of that. And honestly, it wasn't something for him at all. And he had been vegetarian for a while since I met him. And since then, he is now vegan, and he is actually now crafting his way to being actually a full-on plant-based chef with a South Italian flair. And his first event is going to be my next tea event called Tea with Victoria Summer, which we're making all vegan afternoon tea.
I love it. And let me ask you about these photos that you send me. There you are with an absolutely gorgeous turkey. And there you are with a beautiful pig. I suspect this was a sanctuary. What sanctuary was it?
That was at the Gentle Barn, and I went there for Thanksgiving. And I have to tell you, Jane, that was my best Thanksgiving ever. It was absolutely beautiful. I actually just went with my assistant at the time. So it wasn't like I was with any family, but it was, for me, the best Thanksgiving, just being with the animals and being able to experience that. I've never had that before. I've always, first of all, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving in England, but it's become a big love of mine to celebrate Thanksgiving, and I really believe in it. But of course, every Thanksgiving I've been to had, animals, obviously turkey. So that for me was a really great Thanksgiving, the best. So hi to all at Gentle Barn. I love what you do.
They are absolutely amazing. Let me ask you about how speaking up for animals dovetails with your career. In other words, for some people like Joaquin Phoenix, it was very courageous of him to do what he did because he was sticking his neck out. Anytime you, what people don't realize, and I've been in this business for a long time, is that stars aren't as powerful as they may appear. And really, it's the infrastructure, the studios and the power base that controls, do you worry about maybe because I think it would be great for you to inspire other actors and people who are front and center to use their voice to help animals, but some people feel a little afraid to do that. Can you tell us a little bit about how you navigate that?
Honestly, it's, for me, knowing what you know and saying what you know is a really important part of my life. That's my integrity. And, you know, we grow and evolve as human beings, hopefully. And I think now is, wow, a huge time for growth in the world. And yeah, it's just a point of integrity, basically, is if there's something that I'm passionate about and that I believe is an important issue, particularly right now for where the world's at, I want to speak up. I want to talk about it. And food is such a huge part of your life, you know? I mean, you know, there's so much focused around food. And also now, it's so much easier to be vegan than it's ever been. I mean, Beyond Meat Burger, for example, if you really have the urge to, you know, eat a burger, it tastes very much like meat. And there are so many different alternatives that it just makes being vegan easy. And even here in Italy, in the south of Italy, where I am right now, you know, I can still get vegetarian and vegan goods that I need. And also for me, because I'm gluten-free as well, I can get gluten-free food here as well. And, you know, the world is evolving, and it's because of the people that have set a good example, have spoken up, and have really pushed forward these new ideas. And I do really believe that vegan food is the food of the future. And, you know, crafting the food of the future is a very exciting thing because vegetables are so amazing to cook with. There's so much color, there's so much flavor, there's so much creativity. And I'm really excited for the rest of the world to catch on.
So tell us about Europe, because I'm an Anglophile. In fact, our show, New Day, New Chef Support and Feed, we worked with Leslie Nichol, who is also vegan. She plays the cook on Downton Abbey.
Love her.
Yes, she's fantastic. And I'm such a fan of that show. I was in England, I believe, 2014, and there were a lot of vegan restaurants, but apparently it's exploded since. I had been regarding Berlin, which I thought was the most vegan city I've ever stumbled into, even surpassing New York and LA. But I'm told that London has surpassed even Berlin. Can you tell us about the vegan scene in Europe?
Yes. So I've been living in Los Angeles for just over 10 years now, and coming back to Europe, which I did a lot of last year, I had the opportunity to explore London and to explore the vegan scene, and the growth now that has occurred is really, really incredible. Now there's completely vegan restaurants, like the Burger Company, which is out in Brighton. And there's also many, the best thing for me is that you can go to a restaurant and get a vegan menu. Sometimes you can go and sit down and you can be like, oh, so, you know, what vegan options do you have? And they'll be like, oh, we have a vegan menu. And you're like, what? Great. So I've noticed that. That's always a huge relief to me. I'm just like, whoa. And I make sure, you know, like we've just been in Rome. Fabrizio and I were in Rome, and we checked out a couple of vegan restaurants and vegetarian restaurants. And we made sure to just really give them a lot of support and good reviews, and, you know, really try lots of different things on the menu, because I really want to support these places, because I really believe that this is the future.
So I want to ask you a provocative question. We here at Jane Unchained, which is a 501c3 nonprofit, and I was in the mainstream media for 38 years. But when I retired from that, I was using my skills to spread the word. So we do these cooking shows, New Day, New Chef, New Day, New Chef Support and Feed. And we're continuing to do them. Would you ever be, we've had Leslie Nichol, Elaine Hendricks, Lori Allen, a lot of well-known people on our shows, actors and actresses, just being themselves, cooking and explaining what they eat. Would you be willing to ever participate in that?
Absolutely. I would love to do that. I'm a big fan of cooking. So it's one of the first things that I jump on, actually.
Well, of course, I thought of it because you are amazing, but also with your fiance being a trained vegan chef. Come on, it's right there staring us in the face.
Absolutely. We should probably partner up on it and see how him and I react, together under pressure. I feel like it would be a good test.
Oh, yeah. I think you guys would come out swimmingly. I always say a vegan kitchen is a very joyous place because there's no mistakes, because no matter what happens, nobody dies, right? So it gives you the freedom to have a lot of fun because our whole goal is to explain going vegan is not a sacrifice. It's a gift. It's joyous. There's only, and I'll go back to your photos with your animals here where you visited at the dental barn. We kill and eat about 6 animals, different types of animals, pigs and turkeys and chickens, but there are literally tens of thousands of fruits, vegetables, nuts, and grains. So there's actually a lot more diversity and ability to experiment and have fun in a plant-based kitchen than in a traditional kitchen where you're eating animals and animal products. There's a lot more versatility and variety. So it's actually a super fun thing. And one of the things that everybody has said about the show is that everybody's having such a good time. We have a tradition where when we turn on the blender, we all dance. And that turned out to be like unintentionally a hit because we were trying to think, well, what do we do? Vegan cooking involves a lot of blender use because we're blending things that would be a cream or a sauce. And do we try to get a soundless blender? But even they make a little noise. Let's just do what I do, which is dance around when the blender's on. So all of a sudden, we were having just a fabulous time. So I'm really excited to hear that because, we live in a celebrity culture. Let's face it. People are interested in doing what celebrities are doing. You're gracing the cover of these magazines. You're doing so much to really, you're at the, and let me get rid of that banner there so we can see your beautiful face. You're at the pinnacle of your career, and people automatically will listen to what you have to say when they might brush it off from somebody else. Have you been able to influence other people and maybe even other people in your industry?
I like to think so. Absolutely. I mean, I definitely talk about veganism a lot. I'm always posting to my stories and to my page. I support a lot of the vegan groups, and I think a lot of people have noticed that. And I try to set a good example, to friends. And I'm obviously having my Tea with Victoria Summer events, which raises money for teenagers with cancer, but also promotes the idea of a vegan afternoon tea, which is obviously a tradition, but it's a tradition for England, but ours is a new spin on an old tradition. So I'm very excited to keep going with that idea and encouraging people away from dairy because there are so many more amazing alternatives.
Well, the last time I was in London, way back in 2014, there was a hotel in West London that had the most sumptuous vegan high tea with the cream that was coconut cream and the strawberries and the biscuits. I thought I died and gone to heaven. And I hear that Claridge's also has a vegan high tea that you can order. So
interesting that you mentioned Claridge's there, Jane, because that's actually where Fabrizio used to work. So he actually used to prepare the afternoon tea at Claridge's. And so he knows all about how to make a great vegan afternoon tea, which is why he's my chef for Tea with Victoria Summer. And not only that, he will be doing a baking class live to teach you all how to make your own vegan afternoon tea.
So let me ask you this. If people want to get involved and participate, what do they do to get involved in your Victoria's Summer High Tea, vegan high tea?
So invitations will be going out shortly, but it's a global event and you can all join in. There'll be a link that will be sent out live once you've replied to your invitation. And yeah, we're very excited. It's in November and we'll be promoting it very shortly.
I can't wait. I'm very excited to see what happens there because I think it's absolutely brilliant to have a global vegan high tea. Oh my gosh, that's a genius idea. We only have a couple of seconds left. So what would you say to, well, I mean, we could talk all day. I know you're a busy lady and I don't want to monopolize your time, but what would you say to folks who are out there who, look, we're in a pandemic right now. That's a zoonotic disease. It jumped from animals to humans. It was first spotted in a slaughterhouse, as was SARS in the early 2000s. We've also dealt with mad cow disease and swine flu. Abuse of animals is coming back to haunt us. It's a leading cause. You say you help kids with cancer. Processed meat, which is how a lot of people eat meat, is officially cancer causing, according to the World Health Organization. We're also dealing here in California with wildfires that are devastating millions of animals, and obviously people are losing their lives. Again, climate change, the result of deforestation, which is heating up. Trees sequester carbon. You destroy the trees, the planet gets hotter. We're destroying forests for cattle grazing and to grow crops to feed farm animals. The Amazon is being destroyed for cattle grazing. It seems like so many of our problems boil down to our addiction to meat and dairy. So what would you say to people, because you have a global audience and a global fan base, what would your message be to people in general? What can we do?
Well, the world is changing and the world is showing us exactly what we need to do. And I think that a lot of us realize at this point that we need to change. So the awareness level of people is going up, not really because they want to, because of what's occurring, So I actually, at the moment, I'm just really encouraging people to really understand when a piece of meat arrives on their plate, really think, where did that piece of meat come from? What happened to that animal before it arrived on my plate? What has it been through? And do I really want to support that suffering and that tragedy? And there's just, I mean, you're showing pictures now of the absolute disgraceful conditions that these animals are kept under, and billions of animals are born into slavery every single year. And it is really something that needs to change dramatically right now. And we have the options. We have the options to do it. The vegan alternatives are the best they've ever been. And now is the time.
Well, nobody could say it better than that. I thank you so much for taking the time. I'm very excited about possibilities of collaborating further. And please let us know about your global vegan high tea in November. We will promote the heck out of it because that sounds like a genius idea. Victoria Summer, amazing actress. And I just want to show a couple more photos because your photos, I could just spend all day. You have the most extraordinary photos. I mean, look at this. Absolutely. Every photo you take, you have a totally different personality. Well, there we go. This one here. You could go from like royalty to a ninja to model to, it's just amazing. You have a wide range. And so I'm so excited. Thank you for taking the time. Stay safe. Congratulations on having a fabulous vegan fiance. And we'll be in touch.
Thank you, Jane. Thanks for having me on the show. All my love.
Mwah. Bye.